I absolutely adored this film. Was there something about Christmas Plus One, or maybe even Michael, the character, that truly drew you to be a part of this movie?
Uh, Absolutely. The movie itself was very sweet. It's I say it, it's like a Christmassy Christmas movie. And when you see the film, you know what I mean. It hits so many of the classic Christmas tropes. But what made it really interesting to me personally was playing Michael. There's nothing more fun than playing a guy who hates Christmas in a Christmas movie. And the sort of juxtaposition of that was a really interesting character for me. And I don't want to give too much away, but obviously Michael, when you're introduced to my character, is a bit of a Scrooge, a bit of a grump. He tries to flee New York City where he lives to get away from Christmas every year. For reasons that you'll find out, he gets stuck in the city and gets roped into having to do literally all the Christmas things you could possibly imagine, skating and, snowball fights and snowman building contests, all these things. And the fun and the comedy in someone, usually in these films, people are always awestruck. And Emily's character, who's our lead, Kara, she is very much one of these people absolutely in love with Christmas, lives for this kind of thing, and my character wants nothing to do with it. And that was just such a fun thing to play, from a comedic standpoint. And obviously he has a really touching arc as well. It's always a pleasure when there's some nice depth to the character. So
Yes, he's not a huge Christmas fan, but he takes this job exploring the holiday tropes in New York, and he has this sweet, you're going to use this word a lot, a sweet meet cute with the character Kara, which I think is adorable. It's
yeah.
very unique, and it follows, a lot of beautiful Christmas traditions that she has. Um, what was it like getting to work with her? Were you familiar with the actress before getting to star with her?
Yes, I knew Emily and I was a fan of her work before we got a chance to work together. So when I found out that we were both lined up to do this, I was very excited. I'd seen previous films and I know how funny she is. I know how great of an actress she is. And then I found out what a great person she was as well, because you get thrown into these movies very quickly. And our characters, you say, it has, again, I don't want to give anything away, but there's a very unique meet cute and there's a very unique plot element to this because there are two men in the picture as well, which I want to kind of seed because there's another guy played by Andrew Bichelle who is another wonderful person, wonderful actor, and he comes off as seemingly the perfect guy for Kara. So she's kind of after him. My character kind of comes in and whirling dervish and kind of the opposite of what you would expect for a meet cute. And that was just such a fun way to start off our relationship. And as you mentioned, my character is a writer in New York, and he's an aspiring novelist, but he's sort of got caught up into doing more fluff piece kind of stuff, top 10 lists, and he's not overly happy about it. And through these various circumstances that I don't want to give away, he ends up having to help Kara's character in pursuit of Andrew's character, Chase. She's invited him to her sister's wedding, which is only in a couple of days, and she thinks Chase is her soulmate. And the trade-off for me is she's going to take me to all these Christmas spots because I have to write an article about the top 10 Christmas spots in New York, which my character wants nothing to do with, but has no choice. And as a result, our characters have no choice but to hang out together. And then from there, things sort of evolve in a really interesting way. Fun, comedic, but also emotion. Really comes to the forefront as you sort of peel back the onions on both these two characters. So
Well, often these Christmas films are shot in summertime, but for you, I didn't think it could happen because there's so much snow and there's ice skating. So I love that this truly takes place, uh, a little Christmas movie behind the scenes magic.
and let me
From
tell you, this is, as you mentioned, authentically winter. I've never shot a movie where I was so cold, but it's in a great way because it also lends, as you know, having seen the film and those who will watch, it's a part of the story that my character is ill prepared for the weather. He never expected to be there for the holidays. So the fact that it was cold actually helped me as an actor because you don't have to act that. We just were. And we had real snow, we had real ice, we had real snowballs to throw. When we're sipping our hot cocoa or our ciders, like I'm really clinging to that thing for dear life, and that's very relatable because it's cold during the holidays, but that's all a part of the magic of it all. So
There's so many special scenes, and I have to ask about filming the one of you on ice. How easy, difficult was it for you to be on skates? Surely you're a Canadian, so you're maybe born on ice skates, but
that's
at the
the
same
rite of
time, you're
passage.
filming. You've never, I'm sure, had to actually have a camera nearby, making sure these angles and stuff. So I'm sure you spent much time on the ice that day.
Oh, we did. We did a lot of skating that day. And I personally have always, as you mentioned, a true Canadian. I came out skating and I love to skate. And I love the fact that I got to play a character who was a little rusty as well. And Emily, who I should mention, who not only a fantastic actress, but she's a natural athlete. Like she's one of these people that can do anything. So she was a really good skater. So we kind of got competitive. But the fun of it is that my character wasn't supposed to be, and that was what was really fun about it. She got to basically carry me around the ice, and a lot of these sequences too. I should mention Michelle, our director, allowed us to improv. So a lot of the moments you see from the baking scenes to the snowball throwing to the snowman to the skating, there was a little bit of dialogue in the script, but we were really allowed to just sort of play in those characters. And for me, those are some of my favorite moments because you find these really kind of spontaneous things that happen. And it was a surprise to me when I finally got to watch the film. I was like, oh, what did they pick? What moments did they use? And I found myself laughing along because I had so many good memories doing it with Emily. So
Such a sweet movie, and I touched on some of my favorite moments. Maybe making the wish is also the tree moment. Maybe your tree moment, I should say, because she's made a wish, which is how we were brought here. Maybe one of my favorite moments, and the dancing scene might be one too, but but
again, a lot of improvisation there with the dancing and stuff, which was so fun. We just had so much, like we just had so much to play with in every scene. The set design was fantastic, and we just got to kind of play in these spaces. And then, as you said, thank you for mentioning the wish scene where my character sort of gets roped into making his wish. And again, it's one of those scenes. It was really beautifully written. But I think I remember being surprised at how emotional it was on the day when we were shooting that. And again, it's a testament to Emily and our crew. And they had set such a beautiful set for us to do that scene between the Christmas tree, and they really took the time with all the characters too. There was real scenes where we would sit in each other's presence and really got to know each other, which was nice amongst all the Christmas fun. And I really hope that it'll resonate with people.
As I mentioned, those were some of my favorite scenes. Were they some of your favorite scenes to shoot, or do you have others that really resonate with you or hold a special place in your heart?
Yeah, I mean, those scenes for sure, where we're opening up, to each other, when he makes the wish. I remember really enjoying shooting the cake baking scene as well, because it was very fun. And then as a lot of the arc of the film, you're not really quite sure which direction it's going to go. And then things would come out that were really emotional, and then we would kind of wrap it back up and be fun. And there was this fun element of us always sort of right as we were getting really personal, something would happen and kind of pull us out of that. And she's still looking for Chase. So there was all this really fun, dramatic energy to play with. And then, as I mentioned, like the skating, I remember laughing so hard at the snowball throwing scene. I love the scene where Chase's nephew is like so good at throwing the snowballs. And of course, my character, Michael, is, yeah, I'm a soccer guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. And anyway, so there was a lot of fun with that stuff as well. And even building the snowman, as cold as it was a very fun scene because of the wardrobe, and he's just so ill prepared for everything. And those were some of the best memories for sure.
What do you hope then lingers with people who watch this film? clearly there's an aspect of soulmates that you may or may not touch on, but also, is there, a little Christmas magic that you hope enters people's hearts?
For sure. I mean, I would imagine most people, well, what's fun, I think, about the film is you kind of have both sides of the spectrum. There are those who really lean into the Christmas magic, and that's Kara and her sister Amy, and that's such a beautiful. And by the way, their relationship in the film, sister relationship, is also one of my favorite parts of the film. Vanessa, who played Emily's sister, the two of them were just so good together and so natural. So anytime I got to sort of orbit their characters, it was just so nice to watch their chemistry, and you really felt they were sisters. It was so authentic. So there's that family aspect that is so beautiful, and I think that will resonate with people. And then you have my character on the other side that doesn't have the same familial, he's a little bit more alone at the beginning of the film. He's a little lonely, and he's a little bit more hesitant to buy into the Christmas magic. And there might be people out there that, I don't buy into the whole Christmas magic. So you have these characters that I think multiple people can relate to. But I think what's so beautiful is over the course of the story, I think the universal message is that connection is more than maybe just on the surface what you think, and when you dig deeper, you can find even deeper meaning. And I think there's meaning in that, in Kara and her relationship with her mom and her sister, and obviously that comes out, without wanting to give too much away, with the arc of Michael's character as well. And Chase is there with his nephew and family, and that, and there's a nice maturity to the love story as well, which I really liked, and complexity to it. So I think there's lots there. And then there's just a lot of fun scenes that touch on, I know for me personally, so many of my, finding a Christmas tree, skating, doing all that kind of thing. It just hopefully will remind people of beautiful memories that they have in their own lives.
Then what are some of your annual Christmas traditions? This begs the question, Corey.
Yes. Well, so, I mentioned Christmas tree. You always got to go out and get the Christmas tree. In recent years, I've started my own family. Very fortunate to be kind of passing on some of the traditions, to my kid. We go out and we find the Christmas tree. Just decorating the house is always a big thing. And it's always been my favorite time of year for so many reasons. The main one being that it's the whole world shuts down for a couple of days. And if you're fortunate enough to have loved ones to spend it with, you really get that quality, uninterrupted time with them. And that is what I've always loved. And I said, being a Canadian, I love the outdoors. I love to skate. I love, I have a son who's 5 now, so he's all about snowball fights and building forts and doing all that kind of thing. So, yeah, it is a magical time of year for me. And the fact that I get to partake in these really touching stories, that are Christmas films, is an added bonus. It makes it pretty fun to go to work.
So now I can officially ask you, what's next for you? Have you found a next project to work on? Do you have something coming out again shortly here after the new year?
Yeah, I just finished a project called The Love Club. And that's actually a mini series. And we're very excited about it. It's about 4 friends, and they each film sort of centers on one of them. And this is actually the second season. The first season was Love Club. This is Love Club Moms. So all the leading ladies have a connection or are mothers themselves. And like I said, we just wrapped that a few weeks ago, and that should be coming out in 2024. And then I should also mention, in recent years, I've had the pleasure to actually start directing a lot of holiday films as well. My wife's a writer. She's written a ton of films that are in this genre, and rom-coms, and that have appeared on Lifetime and Hallmark. And so we're very excited, and we have some stuff in the works. Too early to reveal any details, but we are hard at work, going into the holiday season here ourselves, and we're hoping to have some stuff, more stuff coming out in 2024.